he doesn't even have to give me money. Tell him to give me $100 worth of Italian oils, meats, and other things. You tell him to put together $100 box, I'll accept that instead of cash. Thank you.
When Rob's quoting a stat from 3 years ago, he's got instant recall. But when it comes to our $100, the guy seems to be very forgetful.
Pat, George is on fire. He knows Pizzola well.
Well, Pizzola needs to run the when to pay you through his algorithm when the numbers tell you the optimal time to pay him.
Does his system when he runs the game simulation 1,000 times say, hey, he hasn't paid us? Like, well, yeah, like that's what we need, George. A new thing, like people I haven't paid simulation.
Yeah, and listen, the sample is so small. He's only been losing in this for 4 straight years. Maybe he forgets when to pay.
Oh, that was good.
Pat Mayo Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience NFL Divisional Round Best Bets, Gold, Silver, Bronze, Teaser, Fastest 60 Seconds, plus how we did well or did not do well. A week ago, Cam Stewart's on the line. Rob Pizzola's looking a little bit different today. In fact, Rob Pizzola went 0-3 last week to end his incredible run, so he decided, I'm quitting talking about football ever, however, from the Hammer Network, along with Rob Pizzola. George Tsilfidis is on with us, taking his place. George, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And, Pat, oftentimes when a CEO makes a big mistake, they send out a spokesperson to face the fire. So sure enough, off his 0-3, he sends me in here to take the heat for our network.
Yeah, Rob, you're fired. He had a great year, though. He actually needs like 9 bad weeks in a row to get fired.
Yeah, I could basically Rob just had a Pat Mayo week is how I would describe it.
Don't be hard on yourself, Pat. It's a National Football League, buddy. It's just it's honestly as we talk about the Mexican soap opera, like I like you're sitting there watching games. Oh, that looks pretty good. Next thing you know, your team blows huge leads and early payouts are nice. But I'm going to tell you, just these games have been absolutely insane. I don't know. And just one quick thing, Pat. I know we talk about refs and stuff. Like, what do the Buffalo Bills have to do to get fucking calls on the road, at home, whatever? Like that. Like Jacksonville setting up for that play. That's horseshit. Like, just call it out for what it is. It's horseshit.
Yeah, but the Bills had a few of them as well. Like there was I think it was the first Josh Allen push. There was another first down that they gave the Bills that clearly wasn't a first down.
Maybe it's just shitty reffing all around.
Yeah, the side judge was spotting everything like a yard.
Oh yeah, no, seriously. Like, George, Pat, are we gonna like Pizzola's been talking about this forever, and Rob's got good idea. Like, are we gonna run with the fucking archaic 1940s chain gang? Like, let's enough. I know you want to have everything. And the virtual. I know what the best is, Pat. How the virtual measurement is wrong. It's shit too.
And it takes too long. It takes 2 minutes to get a virtual measurement. We're supposed to speed up the process.
I'm going to tell you, George, I do a lot of college football. I prefer the college rules over the NFL by a million times. It's a way better system. I find the refereeing better. I find the pass interference is 15 yards instead of giving a team automatic points. It's just the whole thing to me in the NFL. There's so many flaws with this league.
But the issue is, if you don't have the long replays, Cam, then you can't squeeze in 4 more commercials.
You got it, Pat. It's like horse racing at Northfield. 1 minute to post, 9 minutes later, and they're still there. They're late money coming in. No, I get it. Live betting, everything else. You named it, Pat. That's the world we're living in right now.
The odds, if you want them in Canada, outside of Ontario, plus some sweet golf boosts up there under the PME Exclusives tab, go to CoolBet.com. Hit the link down in the description. Maybe you'll find a surprise for yourself when you go join. Plus, Underdog, the Pick'em contest is rolling. The leaderboard is in the description from last week. However, you still have time to get in on the weekly contest and the overall. You just need 40 picks for the playoffs in the Underdog Pick'em game. So the sign-up Google form is down there. You just enter your Underdog handle. If you don't have an Underdog sign up yet, then use code Mayo. Get yourself up to $1,000 of a deposit bonus. Since this is the Pick'em game, when you play a $5 entry on Pick'em, you'll instantly get $75 in your account. You'd be crazy not to do it. Plus, there's still a $5,000 giveaway pool that you can enter. That's down in the description. Just use that Google form once you have your Underdog handle. Never too late to jump in, but you can see where the leaders are at right now. You need 40 total picks for the overall, 10 picks per week to qualify for the weekly, if that's the route that you want to go down. Let's talk about last week just a little bit. I was 1-2. My prop hit. My two sides did not, because listen, Cam, I didn't realize that Trent Williams was going to be in and Lane Johnson was going to be out. I thought it was going to be the opposite of that. So I love Philly. So did Rob. We were wrong.
I got to tell you, just the Philadelphia Eagles all year, it's one of those things. It's hard to go, San Francisco with injuries, but The line opens up at 3. It goes to 6. I heard some 6.5s were out there. I was on the road in Kingston, and I was telling Drew, your boy Pat, I'm like, I don't like you're telling me I got to lay 6 points with the Philadelphia Eagles, who basically, they all yell at each other. Their offense is convoluted. Hurts went no completions versus the Bills in the second half of that game. Like, the Philadelphia Eagles are a shit show. And I'll tell you, with the talent that they have on their team, they obviously had to fire the offensive coordinator, George and Pat. Like, I look at this team all year. They just burn money. And you talked about it, Pat, and I'll give credit. You talked about the coach of the year and Shanahan, like what he did with that bare empty cupboard was unreal. You just go, oh, I'm going to give this guy a coach of the year because the team did it. How about a team that was ravaged, and I mean ravaged with injuries, going into Philadelphia as a 6-point pooch and winning outright? Good for the 49ers. I know they're a divisional rival, but I got a lot of friends, Vizey and Vince, in the crew. They're going to hate me this week, but good on the Niners. And know what? The Eagles are the worst favorite in the business.
George, this is something I brought up on the spread show, and people got on me about it, that Vrabel's the coach of the year. And it was my take that, like, I don't necessarily know if Vrabel's a good coach or not. I don't think he's a bad coach, but I think he's like pretty even Steven.
He's okay.
Yeah. Like, I think like him getting all the credit for this Patriots turnaround, I think is pretty ludicrous.
No, he'd actually be my third choice, maybe even fourth choice for coach of the year. I think the coach of the year is actually Mike McDonald.
There you go, George. Welcome back.
Sucking up to Cam already. I like it.
We're sitting in the NFC. We're sitting in the semifinals, and 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC are in the same division. And this guy won the division with the number 1 defense, basically off his strengths, not Drake May carrying them to an unbelievable record playing at MVP level. You said something about Shanahan, Cam. Whenever the chips are down and he's like so shorthanded, he digs so deep in his bag. Do you remember the Thursday game against the Rams?
I sure do. It knocked out people out of their survivor and killed people financially.
And the spread just kept running and people kept adding on to their positions. And I knew from the first drive, the way they came out, I said, Shanny's in his bag. And he brought out the trickery. He was like, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to give it my best shot. And I'm like, once again, I found myself opposite Shanahan with great closing line value and just knew I was on the wrong bet on the first drive.
Hey, listen, there's other things you can take away from it too. Like, is it all Shanahan? Obviously, offensively, yes. But Bob Saleh, when they start giving out those coordinator awards, Saleh probably should be for what he's done with this patchwork defense, losing its 2 best players, and another pass rusher. Fred Warner is like trying to play this week as well, which is absolutely mental that I can't believe he'd be back so quickly. But just his schemes and what he's able to throw at you. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get to San Francisco this week at +7.5. I just feel like that's too many points for the way that he can get Darnold to throw you the ball a few times. That doesn't mean they're going to win, but I think that he can clog up the Seattle offense enough to make it a game.
I'll just say this, Salah, like, you go to the Jets, you go to die. He's actually a really good football man, and he's great. They also had a lot of really young players. As you saw, they had to progress. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, it's not easy. You grab these kids in from college, and then they have to figure it out. And San Francisco figured it out very well. And they've been playing with injuries, and they're a smart football team. They understand what they need to do to beat you despite being shorthanded. Pat, we'll get to the picks. Hey, great against Philadelphia, but I think Seattle's one team with the bye week. McDonald, as George said, this guy's smart. And they have a lot of smart coordinators, and I think they can do a lot of things this week. So we'll see how this one, the books aren't stupid. We talk about respect the line, and you see 7. I've seen it knocked down to 7, 7.5. If you want to get San Francisco, you can find a few, but Seattle is, I think, ready to rock this week.
Well, George, let me throw it to you. Who was actually, if Vrabel was 4th and McDonald was 1, where was Shanahan? Was he 2 or 3?
Shanahan was 3. I think Ben Johnson deserves a ton of credit for what he's done in Chicago. Liam Cohen, you can also make an argument like, listen, I don't want to shit on Vrabel because he turned around the team, but I don't believe he's responsible for the majority of their success. I think Drake May playing at an unreal level. But that being said, this is a year where there's like 5 legitimate candidates. It's an awful, in the Oscars, sometimes it's like such a stacked movie class and someone's not going to win best actor because it was just too much of a heavy card. And then other years where it's like, I guess we'll give it to Leo for The Revenant, even though the movie was not one of his best movies of all time. Unfortunately for a lot of these coaches, and Vrabel will likely win, they just ran into a very stacked class, but I think Mike McDonald is the coach of the year.
I can get behind your power rankings with that. I'd probably go Shanny number 1 because he did it with just injuries and just being depleted all season long. And they were very clearly, Cam, the third best team behind the Rams and the Seahawks in that division. Yet they had a chance to go into Seattle, win a game, and be the 1 seed, which was shocking.
I think John Schneider, the GM of Seattle, deserves a lot of credit for this too.
Agreed.
They figured out what they needed to do. You draft Gray Zabel. You pick up Amenwara from South Carolina that should have been a first-round draft pick, but he's banged up, and you know what I mean? That was just a steal. You look up and down their roster, they got guys that are filling in voids. They've done really, really solid drafting over the last couple of years, and that comes down to the general manager as well. Also, Kubiak, he was a good coordinator. You know, when he was with Carr of the Saints, he did some really special things. Like Seattle, Pat, the thing is, they were projected to be probably one of the worst teams in this division. I know a lot of people like Arizona to win the division.
I selected Arizona to win this division. Yeah. Good pick, Pat.
So, I know most people thought Seattle would come 3rd or 4th. They were the shithawks of the division.
3 or 4th. Yeah. They were 4th in preseason odds, like a win total of 8 wins. So the fact that they won 14 and like were the best team, I think is a testament to Mike McDonald.
Agreed. And his whole staff.
Well, let's get to the gold picks this week. George, you are the brand new guest on the show. You can lead the way with the pick. It could be a side, total, or props, because we're in the playoffs now. We have limited options.
You know what? I love this play. My number, and I do make numbers for games. I've been higher than market on New England, and I continue to be. I was on them last week. I'll be on them again as my gold play. They're getting taxed for their schedule, and I know that's the narrative that people love to put out there.
Narrative suck, George. You know that.
Well, listen, you can only play who's in front of you, and here's the actual facts. They're 12-5-1 against the spread closing number, so they've outperformed market expectations, even factoring in their soft schedule. They're covering these games by an average of a touchdown, so you can't even say that they're squeaking out wins against bad teams. They're decisively killing bad teams. What the key is for me is New England ratcheted up their pressure. Ever since Milton Williams came back the last 2 weeks, the defense that was kind of like falling apart all of a sudden looks good again. Kayvon Chaisson, Harold Landry, they caused a lot of problems. You heard quotes coming out of the Chargers game of the offensive players saying, we didn't know what kind of coverage they are in. They disguise stuff quite well. And Houston, much like the Chargers, obviously not at the same level, has a shaky O-line. It looks like Nico Collins is going to miss with a concussion. It looks like Christian Gonzalez is going to be able to play. He was in limited practice in the first practice yesterday for New England. I just find a lot of pass for Houston to have success offensively not viable here. They don't run the ball well. They're going to be under a ton of pressure. And without Nico Collins, I don't know that they can go score for score with New England. Not that New England's going to light up Houston, because I believe they're a tremendous defense, but I make this line closer to 4.5. And like for all their faults, New England's still top 10 in defensive dropback EPA. So I don't see the path for Nico Collins without Nico Collins for this Houston offense to have success.
I am completely on board. I have one side on my gold, silver, and bronze this week. New England -3 is my bronze pick for the week. So good, George. You know, you can suck up to Cam a little bit, and I can tail you.
Yeah, now you too. Yeah, George is doing well.
Yeah, this is smart.
Pizzola? George is in.
Yeah,
I was avoiding our friend Jeff like the plague last week.
Oh, dude, what? A shot of bleach? And the funny thing is, like, people are like, yeah, obviously he's not going to do a shot of bleach, but probably pretty close. Some household cleaners. You never know, Pat. Like a Clorox, Pine Sol blend. I'm thinking kind of like instead of Jameson or tequila. But I love Jeff, and I hate to see. I know we kind of joke about it, but Jeff loves the Chargers, and I'm sick and tired of this shit every year. I really want him to be successful. I think, he loves his team. He loves football. And watching the Chargers flame out like this every year is fucking disgusting. And I really wanted them to win that game against New England. But this is what we get. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, Herbert was hurt. Yeah, he was hurt all fucking year. Their line was out. Yeah, their line was hurt all year. So what are we going to do? Are we going to step up in a big situation? Are we going to make a play? Are we going to score from the half-yard line? Anyway, just another gong show. And I feel bad for Guyoff, Pat, because he's a really good human being.
He was far more coherent filming our golf show Monday morning than he had any expectation of being.
He's getting older now. Like, those, the vape pen, the weed, the Dr. Pepper and other alcohols down in the dungeon. You know what I mean? Every year because he's going to have a kid. Daddy, I love you still. Like, I'm sorry about the Chargers. Like every year, it's about the kids more than the team. I know he loves them, but even me, Pat, when I was a kid and the Seahawks used to get beat up by the Raiders, I'd cry to my mom and go, Mom, why is Lilo Zato and Howie Long killing Dave Craig and Jim Zorn, and the Seahawks are getting murdered? She goes, son, because the Raiders cheat. That's what they do. And I'm just sitting there crying on her bed. And she goes, don't worry, son. We can watch Murder, She Wrote after the Seahawks get pummeled, right? And we did. And I was a kid. I was like emotional every single week, every time they lose. You get older, we got other shit going on. Obviously, I'm right into the season this year, but we're grown men. Like, I can't fucking go out there and play. I can't change anything that's going to happen. But yeah, you hope for the best. Good on Geoff. Let's give him some love for not getting absolutely torqued.
Well, Pat, Jeff's kind of been preparing himself all year to for the letdown. You ever been in a relationship and someone breaks up with you out of nowhere, catches you off guard, rocks your world? There's also the version of the relationship where it's been over for a couple months. You're just waiting for the inevitability.
Is that the Chargers?
Yes.
The divorce is already happening. You're living in separate rooms. She's banging another guy.
Yeah.
You come home to an empty house, shared kitchen.
Yeah.
Once
Joe Alt got injured, Jeff was sleeping in another room for 2 months.
He's got a nice house, though. He's got lots of rooms to sleep in. I don't know where I'm sleeping. On the floor? Yeah.
I don't
Pat,
know.
you ever been there? No, never been in a relationship where it's kind of over, but you're still living with your partner due to financial reasons. Yeah, those are fun times.
Yeah, I had that before I ended up moving to New York. I had my 2-year girlfriend that I was in college with. We were living together. I was like, well, this isn't going anywhere. This has been over. Not only am I moving to a different country, you're not coming with me. It's like it seems like you're
not coming with me.
It also seems like you actively hate me. This is not going to end well. So that was a fun final 4 months there of us living together, and then I haven't seen her since or talked to her since. So here we are.
I'm still friends with the family, actually, because the parents like me more than the kid. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So good pick, George. You guys are both on New England this week. I don't really like the Patriots, but I'm finding it hard to get to Houston. Pat, I'm going to do something here. I hit that total with the Chargers game under last week, so we went 2-1. I'm going to go Seahawks Niners over. Is it 44 or 44.5?
I can get you best number on market. I'm using Sharp Stack right now. Yep. If you use code Mayo NFL Playoffs, you can get Sharp Stack for $10 this month. If you want to go do it, it has everything in one place for you, plus all of the DFS tools going around. Go to the odds screen. Let's go to totals. The best total I can get you is 44.5.
Okay, I'll still take it. I think there's going to be points in this game. San Francisco found ways to score against Philadelphia. Seattle left a lot of points on the board against them last time. I'm seeing more touchdowns. That total looks very, very low. So I think we can get into the low 50s in this game. I think Seattle can put up 28-31 themselves. So give me the over. Seattle, San Francisco, over 44.5 in a game that I think is higher scoring than people anticipate.
My question here for the Bills and Broncos game is, let's go back to last week when the Bills beat the Jags. When did the Bills look at their worst like they have all season long? When Tootin was getting carries out of the backfield and just gashing them. And Liam Cohen said, you know what? That's not fair. I'm not going to do that anymore because they clearly can't stop that. I should try to do something else to make this more of a fair game. I don't know if Sean Payton's going to be doing that. He might be in his bag here. RJ Harvey over 53.5 rushing yards is going to be my gold pick, because if the Broncos just decide, hey, we're going to run 45 times, I don't know if the Bills can stop them.
I kind of agree. This is the thing about this game. I don't know how you feel, George, but I'm looking at this game going, wow, everyone's talking about the Denver defense. The Bills defense is actually getting a little bit better. And Denver's offense does have some flaws, like keeping drives together, inconsistency with Nix, even though he does make some plays. Pat, I'm kind of looking at this game going, I think it might be more defensive than people think.
Interesting. I would tend to agree, only because you have the Bills as notorious slow starters going up against a defense, and Bo Nix, maybe he turns out to be coming out firing on all cylinders with the week off. But you're right, the Bills defense has been playing a little bit over their heads right now, but just it's Nix that get a bit of pressure on him. Maybe the Bills can be able to do that. And George, he generally struggles through 2.5 quarters anyway, so maybe first half under's the look.
Yeah, well, listen, to your point, Cam, and I like it. From a defensive standpoint, Denver loves to send the blitz. They blitz at a top 6 rate. They leave their corners on an island. That's how confident they are. And they don't run a lot of too high man. So everybody loves the too high safeties. They don't do that. They test you on islands. Oddly enough, Josh Allen, because of his receivers are not great at separating, they can't beat man coverage. His TD to INT ratio is much worse in man than his season-long numbers. I think there's a bit of a chess match. Denver also 68 sacks this year. The next closest team, 11 behind. They had like the top 5 sacks in a season in the Super Bowl era, and fourth in pressure rate. Just an unbelievable team. So I do see past where Buffalo struggles. But Pat, I'm with you with like Sean Payton is looking at that Buffalo defense that's 31st in defensive rush EPA. They gave up 7 yards a carry against Jacksonville, 57% success rate running the ball. And he's saying, oh, this is 30, 40 carry territory. He's going to just run it up. I kind of was leaning Harvey, but I went with Bo Nix over as one of my plays. And I don't mean to step on the discussion. It just fits in with what we do. The Bills do a good job of limiting explosives. They're like top 10 in limiting 20 plus air yard completions. But
what's Nick's number there, George?
22 and a half, because it's also my silver pick.
I love it.
I actually have Bo Nix and I found plus 325 for an anytime touchdown. I think he might do like a bootleg and get in there. I think that number is good.
Yeah, the Bills are bottom 5 in allowing quarterbacks rushing. In fact, they give the highest yards per carry to quarterbacks running because they like to take away the deep explosives, and their linebacking core is not very good. There's a lot of opportunities to run, and then also for Bo Nix to take off with his legs as well. So Pat, me and you are seeing this game very similarly.
Does it make a difference that Ed Oliver is back?
I think that only helps Bo Nix getting flushed out of the pocket. If you have one of the better pass rushers on your team, that all of a sudden now you get Nix off his spot, and you're going to see a tighter Bo Nix, I think, in the first half, where he's not going to want to play into the narrative of like, oh my God, like if they just had a real quarterback, this team would win the Super Bowl. So he's not going to try to like squeeze in some of these desperation throws, which when he's rolling, he's really good at, like Brock Purdy-esque in that way, where he gets on the run, he's running out of bootleg, but I think he's just going to pull the ball down and run with it, at least in the first half. And you might get this in the first half. Like even on Underdog, I think you can probably find, I can look this up, that his first half rushing total is usually lower than his second half rushing total. For most players anyway, because you don't know who's going to start with the ball, that it might end up being like 10 and a half in the first half. That could be one run for Bo Nix in this game.
Yeah, there's two things about quarterback rushing in the playoffs. During the regular season, maybe they don't want to run as much. They don't want to take the hits on their body. But when you have to win or your season's done, you're willing to throw your body a little bit to the wayside. The other thing is, let's not forget there's only 3 weeks left in the season. So you're going to see a lot of teams activating guys from the IR. They have a 21-day window. I'm not sure that Ed Oliver's playing. And I know he was limited in practice yesterday and he was dancing around, and Bills fans are like very optimistic, but his legs weren't the issue. It's the upper body that was the issue. I'm not sure that means he's ready for a physical battle against probably the best O-line in football. So I actually have Ed Oliver as like a 50% chance of playing. I'm not marking him in with a permanent marker that he's going to be playing this weekend.
Cam sucks up to you,
and
then
comes at you.
Talks the producer.
Talks the producer.
Cheers.
The guy that does the booking. That's
the way it works.
I don't know if you see this Dan Marino picture in the corner.
Dan.
Oh, so I will
do you have a nice warm pair of isotoner gloves for this snowstorm there, George? Better get some. Dan gives them to his offensive linemen every year.
You know, if Pat didn't invite me on the show today, right now, my back would be broken while I'm like...
I got to hire a kid for this snow. I can't do it myself. I'm just going to grease him, like give him 40
Where are
bucks.
the kid? Cam, I'll pay $100 right now. And
I'm with you. Like, and I'm a cheap Scottish guy. Like, I'll give a kid, like, to start, I'll give you 50. I'll see how you do the job. You do it good. It's kind of like, a murder plot. I'll give you your first envelope now, and if you do a good job, you get the rest of it. So I just want to see that he's not some lazy guy. A lot of these kids can't get jobs done properly. Like when I was a kid raking leaves and doing shelf, like we did good jobs. That's what we did. We took pride in our work. A lot of these guys are just doing a half-ass job and they're going in to play video games. So he gets half of the envelope, and then I'll see him later on. If he does a good job, he gets the other half. But Pat, I have to find a neighborhood kid because I can't move. I'm stuck inside for a while.
See what
it's
you
like
need?
Literally the side. George, I'll tell you, Pat, I'm not even exaggerating. It's like 2 igloos over my car, and soon it's going to be like the size of my townhome. It's a disaster.
See, you need to do what my wife does. I didn't realize this was a thing. Like, if Facebook is for old people, you go on the Facebook and get in your community group.
I don't have Facebook.
Well, see, this would be one reason to have it. That's how, like, we found snow shovelers last year, like people to cut our lawn. Like, you find the neighborhood kids there, like, hey, they're out. They got the day off. Like, hey,
I'll just walk the streets, Pat, and find somebody.
Oh, sure.
Light a flare, Cam. Light a flare.
I'm such an idiot. Everyone's like, hey, man, I'm on TikTok. I'm like, what? Yeah, I got Facebook. Who? Like I just George, I'm one of those guys. It's like my buddy was on Facebook and I'm getting like messages like, I put on my slippers tonight and I'm lighting a fire. I'm like, yeah, and I'm watching like sports, betting on it and watching Dateline. Like, like? I don't need to hear about like your remedial shit during the day on these things. But anyway, Pat, maybe I should get on board. But I'm just not on any of these things. If you know what my social media is, meet me at the bar for a drink. That's social.
Yeah, but you can't do that if no one shovels you out.
That's true. You're always the voice of reason, Mayo.
So I will switch my Knicks pick.
Oh, well,
George.
No, you guys can do this.
No, just to give
or anything like that. What are we doing here?
Just let me fucking finish.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to keep.
Okay. Go, Pat, go. I'm sorry.
So instead of Knicks over 22.5 rushing yards, I will take Knicks first half over 10.5 rushing yards. So I'll get less than half on that, and I think that he'll be more willing to run early on rather than trying to force throws into coverage and just play that angle of it. And you can have both angles. You can go 50-50, 25-75, whichever side you like. But I think, George, you and I are both in alignment that we like Knicks running more in this game.
Plus, Pat, you get to avoid the kneel downs when the Denver Broncos are in victory formation in the second half. You don't get taxed by all those negative yards coming.
Don't let George's fish bias, for all you Bill fans out there. This guy's Dan Marino lover. So let's just put the brakes on there, George.
I only have one cap of this game. I'm taking the Bills. I think that the Bills win solely because Josh Allen's the best player on the field. That's it. That's the only reasoning I have.
I think it's a very tough game. For me, I'm probably under, but that's what I'm looking at right now.
I just don't trust the Broncos to score points.
Mm-hmm. That's why
I'm right on market. I'm right on market. I make Denver a very small favorite. Nothing to do on the side here.
Well, remember, George, that game flipped with Jacksonville. Remember Buffalo? It was like the whole line. It's exactly the same line, 1.5 to 1.5.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Cam, if it'll get to the 2.5 that we saw in Jacksonville, but I agree with you. It's mirrored the Jacksonville line completely.
So when we think about the man-to-man coverage that Denver is going to play, how does that stack up against the Bills? Because I've been playing Brendan Cooks over longest reception, which he had. They took it away. But then he ended up getting it again at the end of the game, which was fantastic. The worry is that he might be the Bills' best receiver. He might get locked down by Surtain in this game.
Not just that. Even they love to spam their slot, Khalil Shakir, whenever they can. They have an eraser. Jaquan McMillan has been one of the best slot corners in football. He's got a 2-to-1 touchdown to INT ratio against man coverage, because when you don't have receivers that can beat coverage, and this is probably his worst receiving core he's ever had. It doesn't bode well for Buffalo in this matchup. But you might also have to see Josh run more, even though his legs, even though he's hurting everywhere.
Cust is working under the impression, Cam, that Josh Allen simply isn't going to make it through this game.
I totally disagree. He's a cyborg. He'll take hits. He'll just keep on coming back for more. He's a different cat. Like he was really banged up in that game, and I think he'll just keep on going and going and going till he breaks something and actually can't move. He'll play like he's like a hockey player. He'll just play with injuries and till the end. I love Cust, but I disagree. And to George's point, he'll do anything to win. It's about taking off, stiff arming guys, whatever. He's a one-man gang. So, no, unless he's dead, I think he'll play.
It's funny that Cuss called last week's Jacksonville Bills game the actual AFC championship game because he had them as the two best teams in the AFC. And then when forced to make a pick this week, he picked Denver.
Interesting.
Classic Cust.
Of course.
Didn't
even remember what he said last week.
No, well, listen, he's so anti-Patriots and Bills at the moment that he's willing the Patriots-Bills AFC title game into existence where he just can't have fun watching the game.
Listen, they have two home games. Like everybody's written off Denver. Like I've heard Super Bowl combinations that don't include Denver. I'm like, they're the 1 seed and they have two home games. It sets up pretty well for them.
Hey, George, do you have to be Italian to work at the Hammer, or would you hire a redhead with blonde eyebrows?
I feel like, George, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like I look at your name and it looks pretty Greek.
He's Greek. Sorry, Greek. So I'm just saying, Greek, Italian, that's the way Pizzola has his good eating crew. Like, you know what I mean? Like guys who, like quality cuts, good charcuterie boards, good wine. You know what I'm saying, Pat? He's not slugging it out. Drinking swill.
Greeks are like nicer Italians, or like I like to refer to them. Italians are meaner Greeks.
Well played, George. I like that. Italians are meaner Greeks. Greeks are nicer Italians. That's very good. I like that. Gold pick by George there. That was very good analogy.
Eat better. Train smarter. Maybe stop pretending frozen mystery meat is good enough. And honestly, starting strong is the easiest way when the food doesn't suck to get yourself ready to start the new year. That's where Omaha Steaks comes in. Premium, perfectly portioned protein shipped straight to my door. No guessing, no waste, just legit quality that actually fuels what you're trying to do. I loaded up on their USDA certified tender steaks and gourmet burgers, threw a couple fillets on the grill, which is out my back door, and there's not that much snow, so I can access it pretty easily. Salt, pepper, done, instantly tender. Way more flavor, better texture, zero stress compared to anything I've really cooked before. Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com, promo code MAYO. Terms apply. See site for details. We still need a silver pick from you, Cam.
Oh, Pat, I got a theme this week, and I usually don't do them. I'm all about the Seattle-San Francisco game. We're having fun. You know what I mean? This is the time of the year. I'll take the Seahawks -7. I know everyone, you'll take the points with San Francisco. I think Seattle's going to kick their ass. I think they're going to win this game by 13-16. I think, everyone's talking about Sam Darnold. Don't worry about it. Just do the bare minimum. Charbonnet's running at a higher average. Walker's a beast. You got some Barner, I told you, has picked up some stuff. You protect them, chip blocking, the offensive line. I know they've been a little bit banged up, but I'm telling you, the Seattle team, I'm ready to go. They beat them at the end of the year. I think they're going to beat them again. I'm thinking between 13 and 16 points, and that's good enough for me. So cover the 7. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to beat the Niners by more than a touchdown.
Pizzola laughed me out of the room last week when I took Carolina, just because these giant home dogs just always cover in the playoffs. There's something to it.
No, you're right, Pat. But the thing is,
there's no sample to it. I mean, I've never watched football before, but my spreadsheet tells me this. Like, fuck off. Like, clearly,
I will say this to play no database, whatever. This is why I talk about old man Cam. And guys, there's a time and a place that you talk about it, George, with the quarterbacks running. Points are fucking good sometimes in playoff games. They're good. Putting points on the board is a good thing. The Rams, I get it. It's 4th and 1. But you know what? Now all of a sudden, instead of being up 17, Carolina's alive. The Cats are alive. They have a new life. And that's the problem. I know, Pat, analytics this and fuck that, whatever. I don't care. You play the game. Sometimes you put up points. Ben Johnson does it. Dan Campbell does it. There's a time and a place. You have to look at the game scenario. It's not just, the analytics say we're going to go for this and that. I know, George, I'm an old school guy. I'm 50 now. But I'm just going to say one thing. I am very, very positive in going for 4th downs in situations where, yes, the other team's offense is on fire, or you need to move the ball or whatever. But you know what? Taking a 17-point lead in a playoff game on the road is pretty damn good to me. That's my take.
I think it depends. I think it depends on how you like. I think it needs to be contextualized within the game too. Like if you feel like sometimes it doesn't work, obviously, but you feel like you have the right matchup, even if it is 4th and 3. Like, hey, we're going to run this because we think that there's a 65% chance that we're going to get this. And as we saw, field goals not necessarily automatic taking the points. Some of these extra points get missed, and it fucks everything up too.
Well, McManus is a stooge, but anyway, that's a story for another day.
But usually when people are really like railing against going for it on 4th down or not going for 2, that they never factor in that the field goal could be missed, the extra point could be missed, all at the same time. It's a higher likelihood that it's made, but it's not inconceivable. Like the biggest, not the good goat, the bad goats that we think about, the scapegoats are usually kickers who miss the easiest fucking kick in the world. Happens all the time.
You're right. And I think that's a great point that you bring up. Also, though, like I'm looking at these coaches because they do it once. It's like I use the term like a blackjack player on tilt. It's like go for it. Like Ben Johnson, go for it. Yeah, you got it a couple times. You also fucked up a couple times. You're lucky that Green Bay
but I like that
end of that game. What?
I like that idea so much better, George, than John Harbaugh going for it once, then not going for it the second time because it didn't work the first time. Like, do what you do. Don't let what happened once affect what happens next.
Yeah, I'm with you. So
you're talking Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The thing about Jim Harbaugh is he's a points guy, and he got out of his realm. It's like me all of a sudden, Pat, turning into a computer and going, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I got these numbers tell me this. That's why Pizzola's good. He has his little systems. I have things that I do, watching games, making notes, whatever. Everybody has a system and a process to get to the finish line. The thing is, Harbaugh got out of his lane. He's like Mandelbaums from The Simpsons, like punching like sausage, like, and Rocky, like beating up ribs in a fucking deep freezer. And all of a sudden, the guy's like, "Oh, I'm Mr. Analytics now. I'm gonna like." That is not who he is. It's kind of crazy. And when he did that, I'm like, "Wow, this is really weird," because he never does it. He never did it in college, and he never does it in the pros. Weird.
George?
Yeah, I'm with you.
What do you think, George?
Like, I hate being half pregnant. You either gonna
Half
do
pregnant? Wow.
you either do it, you follow the math, and you're aggressive, or you're a cuck and you like to kick and not go for it. I will say this. Two things that I dislike are people who are bad faith actors, where depending on if the play is successful or not, then they'll form their opinion whether they should have gone for it or not. I'm a firm believer. I'll play the role of Pizzola here. I like the math. I like going for it. People act like the kick is a certainty. There's a percentage that the kick is missed, and people are pretending like it's
Pat, you know I've been consistent in my ways, right? Go for it and whatever. Like I'm not going to change George to go. Oh, no, God. I have opinions that I stick to.
Listen,
I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, I have fights with my friends all the time, and they always say, I had a bad feeling in my gut, and I always tell them, take some Pepto-Bismol and trust the math. That's what I always tell them whenever they tell me about their gut feeling. But listen, you got to be true to who you are. There are different ways to slice the apple, and I like my way. I follow Pizzola's path here.
Pizzola's path is very strong.
I think that there just needs to be some consistency with what you do. Like, just trying to base it off of the exact last thing that happens makes absolutely no sense. If you're a guy who doesn't go for it, at least that's known about you. You're going to be consistent with it. I don't think that's necessarily the right move, but it's a move that works for you.
And also come up with a play where you're not running a running back into the offensive lineman for -1 yards. Like, do something, have a play. If you're going to do it, have a play.
Their first 3 downs were Justin Herbert running the ball. I'm like, are like, let him throw this? The guy's got an arm. I don't know what they were doing before.
You got to have a plan. That's the whole thing. Like, and you saw him, the guy's already banged up. This play had no fucking chance. Like, if you're going to do it, like, yeah, I get it. I don't mind the mathematics, but come up with something that actually makes sense and you have a chance to execute.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
This was a big thing with the Raiders this year because they started going for it more on 4th and 1, 4th and very short. It was like, okay, that's great and everything. Like, you should be going for it in this circumstance, but the play that they would run every time was Genty up the gut for -4 yards. It's like, okay, maybe you shouldn't go for it here, because if that's your only play, just kick it away.
Seattle used to do with Charbonnet, like the same fucking draw for like half a yard, like, you know what I mean? And then McDonald and his staff started to get together and go, okay, we're going to come up with some different concepts now. They actually adapted and adjusted to some of their bad 4th down. It's funny, I didn't tell you the story, George and Pat. They had an interview with, I forget what it was. It was one of the reporters, and I think she asked McDonald, do you know you go for it less than any team in the National Football League? He's like, what the hell are you talking about? And they like showed him the stats. He's like, I had no idea. Like, he actually had no idea, Pat, that they were actually, like, if you break down the numbers, a very, very conservative team. He didn't even know. He thought he was like going for it a lot. Weird.
So Seattle -7 for you. Correct. is the silver. And George, both you and I have Bo Nix over rushing. One's first half, one is total game, 22.5 for the game, and 10.5 over for the first half for me. Bronze picks. I've already stated mine that I am going with George's gold pick. I too like New England -3 in this spot. I can see how this loses. Don't get me wrong. That we saw the left side and Will Campbell coming back of the Patriots offensive line last week. That the Chargers defense was a step up in class for what New England has seen probably over the past 3 months, and it did give them a lot of problems. Now they're going to an even better defense that's going to bring even more pressure without really having to bring any extra guys whatsoever. And if Will Campbell gets beat up the way that he did on Sunday night, it's going to be problems for Drake May. My whole just other side of this, though, George, is I watched CJ Stroud play, and it was not good.
No.
And
they had some success, but they kept throwing up on themselves. I think that part of that is Pittsburgh just is wildly lucky with like tip fumbles, and I never seen a team harness the dark arts like the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I don't know that New England will be able to do some of that, but Stroud's been very average for years now, and I still think we're hanging on to priors of like that great rookie season, but he has not been that guy for a long time.
Yes, Jared.
Do the Texans defense in the last 3 playoff games has allowed 35 points. You guess how many points they've scored on defense? Their defense has scored.
Out of that, like,
Out of the 3
how many
games.
have they scored as a
I'm going
defense?
to say 28.
35.
Oh, okay. So one more touchdown.
35 points they've scored.
Well, the good thing is that, I mean, maybe May just develops fumbleitis or throws like a really like bone back-breaking pick. Sure, at least it's almost like when Caleb Williams threw that pick on the 4th down in the Saturday night game. It was like a 40-yard pick. It was actually better than a punt because the guy ended up catching it. It actually was kind of genius that it turned out that way. And I know he was trying to hit the receiver. Happy accident. That's the way it turns out. It feels to me, George, like if you're going to get after the Texans defense, just take your shots down the field and let it ride that way. I know they weren't able to convert all that well with it against the Chargers on Sunday night. They had the big Ramondre play, but that was a dump off and no one was left there. Finally, Booty, later in the game, they were able to take the shot downfield. But if they try to dink and dunk, which they might have to because of the pressure that's coming all over the Texans, that's not a path to success for them with these quick reads, trying to fit the ball into Stefan Diggs between 3 guys. I think it's taking your shots down the field and getting chunk plays against the Texans and then capitalizing on it.
Yeah, I completely agree. One thing I will say about Drake May's game, like he looked very bad, like a young, inexperienced guy in the first half. And then the second half, he goes 11 of 14, 173 yards and a touchdown against the Chargers. It's like the jitters were knocked off and he's like, oh, I am this damn good again. What I like about Drake May and the reason why I have a crush on him, and it's very problematic because we're in the same division. It's like a little bit like the Capulets and the Montagues. The problem is, Pat, he takes what you give him. 1 week it's the Stephon Diggs show, and the next week it's Kayshon Boutte and Mac Hollins and Hunter Henry and Eric Chisholm. He just hits whoever's open. And I know Houston has 3 strong corners when you consider Jalen Petrie plays in the nickel with Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley. But Drake May, if you give him the run, he will get the first down with his legs. If you lock down on a certain receiver, he will hit the open guy. I believe he will have some problems, but I think there will be some opportunities to move the ball against Houston, who at times has looked vulnerable down the stretch. I know they look very good against a bad Pittsburgh offense, but let's not forget Pittsburgh was moving the ball early, and like save for a DK Metcalf draw, that game could have a different feel to it if Pittsburgh's up 8 points at one point like they could have been.
That's where this game flip came, was when DK dropped that pass.
Yeah.
I had the over in the game. It was down like 37. I'm like, how the hell is this thing not going? Like, what? Thanks, Pittsburgh. That's what they do. They just leave points on the board, right? Because eventually Houston's going to get a defensive touchdown and do some things in this game. And the total was really low. I know as a popular play, I want to be contrarian, and I can't believe the game fucking stayed under. I was like, because Pittsburgh's offense is so damn anemic. And you're right, Pat. That was a huge play.
The other thing with the Houston offense, that if Stroud is able to throw the ball down the field, he's been successful with that. Even if, having no Nico Collins is going to be an issue for them. But they were able to jam the ball down the throats of the Steelers using Woody Marks and even Nick Chubb at certain points in the game. We saw James Cook do that to the Steelers when they were in Pittsburgh about 5 weeks ago. Just the Steelers' run defense, it improved a little bit, but they could get got. Now that the Patriots have their guys back, George, that their run defense is about as good as it was at the beginning of the year, that I don't think that's an option this week for the Texans to say, you know what, let's take the ball out of Stroud's hands and run all over you. They can stop that.
Pat, as a big fat guy, I have a affinity to nose tackles. And
you're Tony Saragusa there, George.
Oh, I grew up on.
You're the goose.
Vince Wilfork, Tony Saragusa. I love. You remember the Minnesota Vikings? They had the Williams brothers, the two.
Yeah.
That was
a lot. In a redhead like me, it'd be the snow goose, Carl Mecklenburg for the Broncos. No, I love those guys, those old school guys. Who just
700 pounds of beef in the middle of the field. If Kyrus Tonga returns, the nose tackle for New England, and Milton Williams, who is back, I think the shaky New England run defense maybe is not a thing anymore. Early in the season, they were too good. Like, I didn't believe they were Tampa Bay level good, but I also didn't believe that they were as bad as they were in that stretch where they were missing everybody. So I kind of agree with you, Pat. If Houston doesn't have a path to move the ball on the ground and their O-line does not hold up to pressure, I don't know. I'm finding it very difficult to find paths where Stroud moves the ball well.
They haven't set a line on Nick Chubb rushing yards yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be like 17.5 to 20.5, somewhere in that range. I would just be pounding the under on that.
Oh, you like the under, dude?
Yeah. Like they're not going to be able to run. I like the under of like 57.5 on Woody Marks too.
Yeah, Marks is just looking at the touchdown market. It's really interesting. You're seeing this guy over like plus 150 for a touchdown. Very interesting. Crazy number for running back.
Woody Marks is the only player this year who has left every single game with an injury. Like that guy is in the blue tent at least once a game.
Oh, listen, Puka Nacua is the champion of this, and Jalen Waddle might be second.
Yeah, Puka goes to the blue tent, you smash his live unders, and then he comes back and roasts you for another 100 off the
That's why you don't do it. It's a trick. He comes back and he's better. He's getting some magic sauce in there. Yeah. No, that guy's the best. I love Puka Nacua.
Jalen Waddle is also a perpetrator of this. He gets hurt 3 times a game.
Mike Evans, too. For years, I thought Mike Evans has pulled his hammy for about 8 years straight, and he never, up until this year, he avoided the injuries.
Cam, bronze pick?
Well, I do like the Bills. I like the Bills under, but you know what I told you? It's a Seahawk theme this week. Charbonnet, my good man, plus 100, anytime touchdown. Have you seen Charbonnet's numbers, Patrick? Well, let me tell you. Touchdown last game, too. 4 touchdowns in the last 3, 6 in the last 7. I'm even looking at the average yards per carry, 6.1, 4.4, 6.6. Not too bad. The worst is 3.6 against the Rams. He's actually been really good. I know Walker's the breakaway back, but at the goal line, they just give it to my boy Charbonnet. You know, Pat, I got type 2 diabetes. Pizzola's got type 1 diabetes. I'm more of a Malbec man, and he says that's for losers. Anyway, I'm changing to Charbonnet as my wine this week. Charbonnet, even money, anytime touchdown. Let's rock.
I like this. I actually really like this bet, Cam.
Thank you, Pat. You know, hey, sometimes I crack some horrible jokes, come on the show, and then I'm thinking, I'm like, you're going to give me Zach Charbonnet without juice? Like, what? All he does is get goal line touches. Like, it's, to me, I love this bet. I don't go crazy. I'm more of a sides and totals, and I play a few props, but anytime touchdown prop for this guy, I think he should be laying 40 cents. So I think it's, you guys talk about the V word value, not virginity. But yeah, let's talk about Charbonnet as a great, Pat, charcuterie board, right? Some nice, and we got a nice Charbonnet and maybe a scotch and a cigar to end the game if the Seahawks cover. Charbonnet, plus 100.
George, bronze pick.
So my bronze pick was actually Bo Nix. You were talking
rushing?
Yeah. You were talking about the Denver. Game. I said, might as well just tell you who my bronze pick is since we're discussing. This is actually my silver pick, so I'm sorry to throw you all out of order here, but I like the LA Rams as my silver pick. I make this line closer to 5. So let's break down the game. The Rams offense, obviously we all know what Matt Stafford has been doing in the past game. The one thing that they've been missing is Kevin Dotson. And I don't really think people grasp how important he is. With Kevin Dotson, the right guard, best run blocking guard in football, and he played my position that I played in high school. So I also have an affinity to big fat right guards. With Kevin Dotson, they were second in rush EPA this year, first in rush success rate. Without him, 17th and 14th. The numbers dropped specifically. In his gap, they used to average 5.5 yards per carry running behind him, according to PFF. Without him, 2.5. If he's back, there's not a pathway where the Rams don't have success against a very bad Chicago defense. That's 24th against the pass in drop back success rate, 27th against the rush. They're bottom 6 team against the run. There's no ways that I don't see the Rams putting up points. On the other side of the ball, the Bears have now lost TJ Edwards for the year, again, hurting them. The Rams defense, I think, is a bit of a paper tiger. You look at their season-long numbers, they're not bad. They were playing at like a top 10 rate for a lot of this year, but since week 12, something in the water went wrong. 23rd in defensive EPA per play since week 12. So they went from a top 10 defense to a bottom 10 defense. That being said, they generate pressure at the 3rd highest rate. Caleb is going to be out of structure, and I know he does well at buying time and making plays down the field. It's a lot different when a Green Bay offense goes stagnant for like 5 drives in a row and allows you to come back. If the Rams are perpetually scoring, you can't afford to have some bad drives early in the game, or it's going to get out of hand quicker. And I don't think the Bears can go score for score with the Rams.
What do you guys think about the under in that? The over in that game? I know there's going to be crazy cold weather, but that 48.5 with these offenses, I think we can get there.
Yeah, I love the over. I didn't want to give two sides of the same game, but I agree with you, Cam. I like.
We only got mineral picks, but we can also talk about shit we like.
Oh, listen, I am on the exact opposite side of this game. I like the Bears +4 and the under. Stafford's been bad in the cold. He is an indoor hot weather quarterback.
Also, he's got a back problem, and you know what the Bears might do? Put a couple cold helmets into that back, and I tell you, Absorbing Jr.'s nice, but it's going to be, that's what you don't want. Older guy, back problem, cold helmet into back equals problems.
And if you want to talk about someone going to the blue tent in this game, Devontae Adams is finding the blue tent at one point of this game.
Lock.
And without him, they haven't really been able to move the ball that well. I guess
Actually,
they did against Seattle in that one game, but without him,
the bank for the Rams is Parkinson. This guy, anytime touchdown markets, he catches everything. Remember, he used to be a Seahawks. Colby Parkinson is so good, man. I love this guy. God, I wish I was still on Seattle.
I'm with Cam. I think Rams will dial up a lot of their heavy 2-3 tight end sets. Okay, I've seen Pat the numbers on Stafford out in the cold, and I'm gonna play my best Pizzola here. Okay,
yeah,
it's like a 10-game sample size, and like 9 of those games he was on Detroit. I don't know that holds up. This is the best version of the Rams in Stafford, probably.
No, the best version of the Rams are the Rams we saw 4 years ago. All these guys are 4 years older now.
Well, listen, they're like top 3 offense, and they run the ball and pass the ball well. I will say this, Pat, if you went into a bar and there was nothing but supermodels in there and you got rejected 10 times, you might come away with the impression.
George, my name's not George. I'm Pat Mayo. That's not happening. We don't live in hypotheticals here.
I'm just saying, you might come away with the impression that you're an unattractive man because 10 supermodels shot you down. I believe sample sizes that are short without context.
Okay, so give me.
What's my percentage, George? Mine is 0. Like if Mayo's getting thrown down, right, Pat? We're out the door, going somewhere else. Going to walk the streets?
Yeah, you guys can beat it. Pat Mayo's walking out there with whoever he wants, please. This is Pat Mayo's world. You're all just living in it.
Talk to fucking Halifax's Ric Flair here. Woo! Yeah, I got double lady action. Don't worry, George. I'll be with you behind the dumpster.
Look, I was Toronto's Ric Flair for a while. I was New Jersey's Pat Mayo for a while. I was Manhattan's Ric Flair for a while. And wherever I go, it just follows. Who am I there?
Pat Bob Backlund? Vote for me.
Yeah, you're more like Barry Horowitz. You just give yourself a nice back pat and you'll be out the door.
2-1.
So what you're saying, George, is that we can't put any context into things that we've ever seen in football because no sample is long enough.
No, it's not that. It's just when you form the narrative off of a context that maybe needs a lot more, that has a lot more ambiguity.
So you take the elements of this game and you just throw them out.
It's getting colder. Hits hurt. I don't need any database to tell me that he's taking a shitload of hits.
Here's my counterpoint. The Bears are bottom 6 in pressure rate, and they couldn't even get a pass rush on Green Bay, who has a significantly worse O-line than LA, right? It to me, it's context. Like I'm not a narrative guy. I like isolate. Here's these two teams in a bubble. Who's better in the matchup? I like the Rams matchup. A lot of people like pulling in historicals. That's not my game. I could be wrong, but Pat, I want to say one thing. Pizzola likes to cosplay as a wrestling fan, but never gets 80% of the wrestling references. I get them all. I'm a diehard.
See, there we go. See,
there you go.
Fuck Pizzola. Get him out of here. He's like cussed when it comes to wrestling stuff.
For the World Life Fund and fucking tortoise foundations. No, I love that. I wish I actually adopted his turtle. I just don't have enough room. But yeah, I'm with you, Pat. Like George is coming in hot right now. So
I like it.
Tell Rob to figure out his business deals, and we'll come see him next week.
You know what? I didn't come here to play nice with the crowd. I came here to do my best MJF.
By the way, George, tell Pizzoli owes me $100. You can give him that message too from the pool this year. So tell him. Obviously, he's rich and cutting deals, and I need $100.
Is he welching
my way?
Is he welching on you? Because I'm the handler.
Oh, he's not welching. He just has. There's a window of time. He's not even there yet. But just tell him, Pizzola, I know you're successful. I know your meats are hot. You're a quality Italian. You don't eat fucking ramen noodles and shit food. Just send me the $100, okay? And I'm gonna put on some golf bets.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Cam, I'm the fantasy champion at Hammer, and Rob is the last one to pay. And I feel like approaching him like Joe Pesci did in the movie Casino and telling him, if you don't have my money, I'm gonna.
I like this, George. So now, I thought it was just like he's just whatever. So you're telling me he notoriously waits to pay people debts. See, Pat, this is something we didn't know about Rob. Maybe that's why he's got more money than we thought. He just doesn't pay his debts.
Yeah, his balance sheet is in the red, but his bank account's in the black.
He's gonna snap when he sees us. By the way,
Good.
Good. Rob, maybe show up for Thursday mornings like I do. Anyway, yeah.
Let's
Like how many things can you actually have to do on a Thursday morning? Like
That's the thing. Ask Pat. I'm not some Superman, and I know Morency works does more shit than me. But I did a morning show today. I'm doing this. I got another show after this, and another podcast. So you know what? If this old fucking beat down horse can do it, Pizzola can do it. He's younger than me.
suddenly he's getting flooded with meetings at Thursday morning out of nowhere.
Sounds like, you know what, George?
Thursday at 8:30 a.m.
Sounds like a guy went 0-3 and didn't want to face the music.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking.
That meeting, Pat, fake.
George, I will say, you're doing what I do when I go and guest on shows. People like to come on and agree with everyone. Just come and fire some takes off. I love
Cam's
this.
a big fucking stupid idiot with a credit card line saying decline. Yeah, that's right, George. It's fine. And you know what? I love it because that's what it is, right, Pat? Pat puts me in my place sometimes. Sometimes he gives me a little bit of Barry Horowitz. Other times they're coming at me. No, you don't have to be friends with everybody. You make your damn picks and you stick by your picks. These guys, they know I'm a different cat. I do things my way, and that's just the way it is. That's what makes for a good show. Pat has a little thing. You and Pizzola are very computer-based, and I am just me. So it works out. We all have different styles.
6-point teaser. Everyone needs to contribute a leg here. Yep. I'll just jump on it early. I'll get the Bears up to 10.
So are we doing a 3-gamer, Pat?
Oh, yeah, 3-gamer. Everyone gets a pick.
Bills plus 7.5.
Oh, you guys are giving me the easiest leg? Thank you. I didn't realize.
Sure, yeah, whatever you want, George. You're the guest.
Yeah, Seattle down. Let's go. Seattle's going to
There we go. I love it already.
You guys are kind. I thought you'd stick me with a tough leg, and you said, here's the easiest one for you.
I wouldn't say there's any easy legs, but, I like it.
I realize that the sample is too small to make any sort of difference here, Cam, but Kyle Shanahan 7-0 in the wild card and divisional round in his career.
Hey, it is what it is, Pat. Seahawks in a romp, but I have a lot of Niner fans that are kind of come at me. And, remember back in the day when you had friends, it's like, yeah, let's go watch our teams play together. Now I'm old. It's like we don't even talk to each other about it and say, no, why? Why would I want you to come out with me if you guys beat me or I beat you? How about you watch it with your 49er fans? I'll watch it by myself because there's no other Seattle fan around here. And we'll talk after the game and see how things go. How's that?
Pretty good. Cam, you've been usurped. You had the hottest new segment on Mayo Media Network. No longer do you have that.
What was that?
Judge Cust has come in.
Oh, Judge Cust. Dun, dun, dun. That's the best. Judge Cust.
But a still exciting, shortest version possible of the fastest 60 seconds in sports betting. Go.
Again, Pat, I'm coming back. When I'm in England, they pass me pounds. When I'm at home, they give me bills of brown. When I'm in Colorado, I'm going to smoke some green. Buffalo Bill, baby. My bills are so high, my Rogers bill, they're going to cut me off. But I'll take Buffalo Bills plus 1.5 anger rants. That's 7. That's for you, Niners. You got your little pan out there. The Seahawk has approached you. He has attacked your neck. You're bleeding in the stream, and I've stole your gold. 7 squawks. You guys like the Patriots? I'm on the Texans. You stupid East Coast city slicker. I'll take 3 Spurs with the Houston Texans. Robitussin. 3.5 claws with the Chicago Bears. Let's win some money this week, guys. Let's party. Done.
Were you able to keep a straight face, George?
Could have been better, but I'm trying.
No, that was the best one in weeks, Cam. That was good.
I know what? The shorter it is, the better it is for me too, because my throat's killing me. But thank you, Pat. Appreciate it.
I was watching last week's stream just to get myself familiar with it. I watched that 1-minute rant in like 2x speed. It was glorious, just like today's.
I'm going to give you the whole thing. Like I give you the Maestro Fresh West, Pat. No, we got to bring out. Everything's clear. They block out the sun. Oh, yeah, I got to get me some. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. These blue blockers are okay with me. Hey, I see. It's a fact. Yeah, these blockers, they go with my hat. Everything's groovy, not a slur in my speech. This is what I do up and down Venice Beach. Woo! Blue blockers. And I love you, Dr. Geek. Bring back that infomercial. One of my favorites of all time.
That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience for the NFL Best Bets. Maybe there'll be a special prop show on Friday. We'll see. But if you want the spread picks, those came out on Tuesday evening. That is still up on the feed and on Mayo Media Network. So smash the like and subscribe. This show, some more coming for the weekend. Plus, we'll have the spread show on Monday evening next week because there is no more Monday Night Football. Thank God. That show will be out early. George, tell everyone where they can find you and check out your work.
They can find me at George Tsilfidis on Twitter. I do a lot of content for the Hammer on the Forward Progress channel. And Pat, if I do say so myself, it was a sample size of 1, but I really enjoyed my time today.
Good job too, George. I think we enjoyed having you.
George,
Thank you.
Listen, it's hard for me to find like new guests to work into the mix, but you made a very strong showing. I very much doubt the sample will stay at 1.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Are we taking the over on appearances, Pat? Looks like a lock.
Yeah, if we set it at 1.5, I'm betting the over, I think.
I agree. 1.5 over with George.
Love
Tell Pizzola under for him. He gone.
And where the fuck's our money? I'm going to tell him. Me and Cam are.
Yeah. I want my $100 there, Daddy Warbucks. Start paying up.
Me and Cam are going to drive in this Blazer.
Pat, and the funny thing is, George, Pat paid me like the next day. He's like, hey, Cam, here's me and Cuss money for the pool. I didn't want to bother Geoff. That was different. He was drinking bleach that night after the Chargers lost, so I'll give him a window of time. But Pizzola, that's a whole different story. Tell him to fire it up. Or he can give me $100. No, he doesn't even have to give me money. Tell him to give me $100 worth of Italian oils, meats, and other things. You tell him to put together a $100 box. I'll accept that instead of cash. Thank you.
When Rob's quoting a stat from 3 years ago, he's got instant recall. But when it comes to our $100, the guy seems to be very forgetful.
Pat, George is on fire. He knows Pizzola well.
Well, Pizzola needs to run the when to pay you through his algorithm when the numbers tell you the optimal time to pay him.
Does his system when he runs the game simulation 1,000 times say hey, he hasn't paid us? Like, well, yeah, like that's what we need, George. A new thing, like people I haven't paid simulation.
Yeah, and listen, the sample is so small. He's only been losing in this for 4 straight years. Maybe he forgets when to pay.
Oh, that was good. That was so good. It has been 4 years. Wow. Time flies.
And review the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. That is a free way to support the show, and it really does help. We will be back next week with the championship round. Best bets. Until then, I'm Pat Mayo. We'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!